Hey, and welcome to HopCast.
Thanks for coming back, everybody.
I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder.
And, you know, it looks like it might be the 4th of July.
It's the 22nd of October. But it's election season.
Yeah, yes.
So it's appropriate, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So, America.
Right. And we have an American beer, and we have a Mexican brewery
that is kind of protesting what's happening on a certain side of the election at this point. And we'll get into all that. So we have Chinga Tu Pelo from Five Rabbit. It's a blonde ale. And
then for Prairie Artisan Ales, we have Merica,
which is a farmhouse saison kind of beer. So yeah, which one do you want to drink first?
Let's start with the Five Rabbit. This is like 7%, so do we even know what style this is?
It's a blonde ale.
Oh, it's a blonde ale.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do that. That sounds good.
So we got a really clear beer there with a pretty decent sized head.
Yeah. It's got a
good wig on it.
It's a fancy little comb over right there. Blonde ale, so you're not expecting to be super wowed by this beer by any stretch. It's just kind of like you would think when you think blonde ale is kind of just like a nice, drinkable, refreshing style of beer.
Right, somewhere like...
Nothing too complicated.
Lower than a pale ale, like even less complex than that.
Yeah, way less hopping on it. Kind of a little bit more imbalance between the malt and the hops. Yeah. And that's coming through. Smells nice and clean.
Got a little bit of like spiciness.
Yeah, there's definitely some hop character, but you know, more subdued than you would typically get from a pale ale.
Let's give it a try. And yeah, that's just like clean. There's almost no flavor. Like that was the first sip, so like getting my palate used to it, but it was just
There's actually a little bit more hop bitterness than I thought there would be.
Yeah. It does have a little bit of bite, but it doesn't like. The mouth feels so light. It's kind of like you get some good carbonation in there. It kind of like tingles a little bit. Yeah,
but fairly soft on the carbonation. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's not huge bubbles. The bubbles are kind of tiny.
Yeah.
And just kind of washes over the tongue a little bit.
And finishes kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's those hops, right? So what's the deal with this beer?
Well, I mean, it would be easy to think that Five Rabbit just like came out with this beer because of the election and maybe even the debates and what's going on. But there's a little bit more history to the situation than that. The story goes is that Five Rabbit was creating a beer specifically for the Trump Tower here in Chicago.
Right.
I think they were friends with the guy who was running the bar there. He asked him if they would make a beer, and they said sure.
And 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, it was like that wasn't a big deal for them.
Right. So it was a good way to sell a lot of beer. They had essentially a tap handle at that bar full time. You get a lot of tourists going through there. They're probably doing okay with the sales numbers and all that.
Yeah.
And then when Donald Trump started making these disparaging comments about Mexicans, they didn't really take too kindly to that.
They were kind of upset about that, being a Mexican-inspired brewery.
Yeah, it was started by Mexicans. They make primarily Mexican-inspired beers, so they use a lot of different ingredients. They're constantly going down there and finding new things to put in the beer. They're very innovative in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of felt like it was a slap in the face to them, and rightfully so.
So they pulled the beer from Trump Tower, right?
Yeah, and I think this was the beer. So then they changed it into Chinga Tu Pelo, which means fuck your hair in Spanish.
Because they had a lot of it. That was the thing. They were brewing it, and there was a ton of beer. They're like, shit, we got to sell it, right? We can't just...
So, it was a good way for them to sell a bunch of the beer and also give a little fuck you.
Because they have like a lot of like stop the hate, bullies aren't leaders.
Yep.
Lot of info about what happened here.
Yeah, so there's a nice long little few paragraphs here just talking about essentially stopping the hate and let's be nice to each other.
Okay.
And let's not respect people who are racist and bigots and stuff like that. So that's a good message to get behind.
Yeah, and they have...
I'll drink to that.
Drink. So it seemed appropriate to have this beer, and we're here in Chicago, and election's coming up, so definitely need to encourage everyone to vote that's watching this.
Yeah, whatever side you're on, get out there and vote for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's an interesting time for the brewery, I'm sure, and I think they handled it pretty well. They could have easily just kind of ate that beer, but it was a good idea, I think, to kind of fight back a little bit and just defend themselves. I'm sure I can't imagine how they were feeling at that point. But.
Right, and I'm sure it got them a decent amount of, like, a little bit of a press. And got Five Rabbit a little more known in the culture and popularity of the beer market.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's interested in the beer market here in Chicago knows Five Rabbit, but when you're getting those other people in there who may have never heard Five Rabbit before, because this is a story outside of beer and it reaches a little bit further than just the craft nerds out there like us. I'm sure it was really good for them, exposure-wise.
And this is the only beer in cans too, right? Or do they do other?
I believe so.
I've never seen a canned beer, and these are like stickers, so...
Yeah, they're like those shrink wrap style can. So, just like a blank can with a little shrink wrap label on the outside. But it is pretty funny.
Right.
It makes me laugh. So, I was just in the liquor store and I was like, I think this would be appropriate for
sure, yeah.
For right now. It's about as appropriate as this shirt that I'm wearing, which is Maeve's, by the way. Shout out to Maeve.
Shout out!
I don't think she's going to take it back, though. It might be my shirt now.
Well, you're not even getting, like, pit stink in it or anything, because it's all out. It's not... Still good. Well, I'm digging this beer, and like Five Rabbit, I've liked a lot of their beers they've done. The Paletos, I think we've done those on here, and overall, just like the quality has gone up from where they started.
Right.
Little hiccups, and now that
they started out contract brewing like a lot of breweries do, and once they actually built out their facility and got everything under their roof, the beer was really, really good. So it's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. And they have a tap room now, right? Or a tap room coming?
I don't know.
Maybe it's coming.
It's been a while since I've been down there, but they're in Bedford Park, so a little bit south of downtown, kind of over by Midway Airport. Yeah. So if you're coming into the city, it's a good place to stop. Right when you get off the plane, sure. There's beer there for you.
Well, should we finish this up and then get onto our America?
America. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we finished the first debate.
You did.
Move on to the Prairie Merica.
All right, yeah, this is a Farmhouse Ale from Oklahoma. Prairie has kind of made a name for themselves fairly recently as
the bomb or bomb. That was kind of one people were clamoring
Prairie
for.
Bomb.
And I think we had it and we didn't like it. But we didn't do it on the show.
Yeah, it could have been old, but you would think a beer like that would kind of stand up to time. We were out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Didn't really think it was all that it was cracked up to be, but I've had other beers from them that were very, very good.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So I'm not sure, like, they got this weird fish, smoking fish on the bottle cap. I don't know if that's
It's
a
a
normal.
smoking catfish.
I don't know if that's a normal cap or for the America bottles. Catfish is very American.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Snagging on the Mississippi. More American than that. And this shirt and this crop top.
Yeah. Let's pour it out.
Sounds good.
So that poured out, it almost reminds me of like a juice or a mimosa kind of like
Yeah,
look.
quite hazy. I mean, you could even see it in the bottle. I mean, it almost looks like an Allagash White to me.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very cloudy, which is not atypical for farmhouse style of beer.
Oh, and we got a little bit of head there. Usually like a finger. Yours is sticking around.
Yeah, looks like a pretty good beer to me.
Yeah. Ooh. Kind of like lemony sweet.
Yeah, it does have a good lemon character. It's got a nice little play between a hop character and some of that saison yeast.
Yeah.
Which is pretty inviting.
Ooh, that's nice.
Smells good.
Yeah. Cheers. I kind of want to try this.
Cheers. Very lemony.
Yeah. It tastes like a juice. And I just
Yeah.
It does not taste like we were earlier drinking some Weiner and some off-color farmhouse ales. This is totally different.
Totally different,
than
absolutely.
those two farmhouse. Like the farmhouse style covers a lot of things. Doesn't
Sure,
it?
it's kind of an obscure style, so there's plenty of room to play in that space.
This is chili. Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of chili.
I mean, I'd be very curious to know what kind of hops they used, because I assume that's where that lemon character is coming from,
Yeah.
and it's very, very pronounced.
Because
pretty cool.
Usually, if they're using any sorts of ingredients like that, like fruit or like anything, it's like set on the bottle, like Farmhouse Ale with lemon or with orange peel.
Yeah, they would, by law, through the TTB, would have to put that on there. So I don't think they're adding anything to it. It's just
and we're seeing a lot more hops come out that have these characteristics of fruits that kind of enhance or just remind you of those.
I mean, there's a hop out called Lemon Drop.
Okay.
So it could be that. It could be something else. That's a fairly new hop. So I don't know if they had gotten their hands on it
How
or not.
American are lemon drops?
Fucking really American.
I drank a lot of lemon drops growing up.
You drank a lot of them?
Yeah, the lemon drop, like vodka.
Oh, the shots.
Yeah, the shot.
Oh,
you were thinking the candy.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a Lemonhead factory here in Chicago.
Okay.
So that's kind of where my mind went.
Okay, I went to vodka shots.
I think I'm so old at this point, and it's been such a long time since I've had a lemon drop.
Oh yeah, I haven't had one.
Fortunately enough, that I just forgot they existed.
You're probably better off.
I haven't been to U of I in a long time. Shout out to Tony Riccio.
Man, that's really interesting. Like it's not like funky or tart like you would expect from a lot of farmhouse ales.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's got just a nice, clean character, and then, again, the overwhelming character is that lemon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like borderline pledge. But it's good.
Okay, not in like a unpleasant, like I just cleaned the house. Gross.
Yeah.
I can taste it in
No,
everything I eat.
it's really good. I enjoy it. I haven't really had a beer like that before, where that flavor was so pronounced. I mean, it's just like you can't mistake it, and you can't miss it. It's there.
It almost make me think it's like almost like a dessert end of meal beer. Like it has that sweetness that maybe you want at the end of your end of the night kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see it for dessert if you're doing like, gelato or something like that, or like something that's not chocolatey, I suppose, like custards and stuff like that. But also, I would open up a meal with it. It's like soft and light enough and bright from that lemon character. I could see it going with like some salady type things or some light cheese.
So Prairie, they are a brewery, but they're contracting out of another brewery.
Yeah, so they're in Tulsa, and this bottle says brewed and bottled by Krebs Brewing Company in Krebs, Oklahoma. So they must have some capacity constraints at their brewery. I'm not sure. I think I've heard that they're expanding, but maybe this is a stopgap.
Right.
In the meantime, they've got a brewery out there to make some beer for them. But
I've never heard.
Either way,
I've never heard of Krebs Brewing or Krebs the town.
No. Haven't Airbnb'd over there yet, but I might need to.
And usually, often stay away from breweries where the name is from the town.
Yeah.
It's usually just not like.
What's a good example of that?
That doesn't work, or just like one that.
So what's a brewery that is also the name of a town?
What am I? I'm blanking now. Where did we recently go? Maybe we were in Utah. There was Moab Brewing. We were in Moab in Utah, and we went to Moab Brewing. It was okay.
It was okay. Okay.
Usually,
I guess that's not very typical, is it?
That turned off.
When I was recording.
Is it out of battery? Really?
Yeah.
Already? Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Well, just continue.
That was like full.
But yeah, don't know anything about Krebs, but I like Prairie and have had good things. Have had like some questionable things, but yeah, all around they seem to pop up fairly often.
Yeah, they're making quite a name for themselves. They're distributing fairly wide outside of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We picked them up in San Francisco. We can get them here in Chicago. So I think they're doing pretty well.
Well, I think that does it for our election episode. Election themed.
Can I take this shirt off yet?
I think everyone's been waiting for you to take it off. So yeah, vote.
I'll take
drink
my
beer.
Putin on a horse picture
Nice.
after I take this off. Thanks for watching.